What's going on YouTube? Trucking Life here one more time, guys. Guys and gals and gals and gals. Yeah. Anyway, guys, today's video is gonna be about weight distribution or knowing your weights. Again, these videos be sparked by either something I deal with on out here in the real world or something I see on YouTube. Or like, that ain't you right. Well, I think somebody needs to know this more because, you know, people don't. Anyway, this game is not really understood. But anyway, I want to make sure if you get out here, you at least know how to get your weights right when you're doing containers. But this business right here could be challenging by itself, but let alone if you don't know how to get your weight right, because it's a bullseye on containers' backs. So if you don't get your weights right, on top of that bullseye, equals you have problems. That's all I'm saying. And I know I have people that watch these videos that don't even drive trucks. So I'm gonna try to break it down to the basic minimum for them people too, to understand, to try to understand what I'm saying here. You know what I'm talking about? Getting a little tired, guys. Getting a little weary. Your gross vehicle weight rating, your GVWR, is rated at 80,000 pounds. Now for the video, I'm gonna keep it real simple. Not no permits and nothing like that. No permits, but you get permits for permit loads and overweight, and your steer tires can be a lot bigger. They carry more weight. Their steer tires is bigger because they rate it at a different weight per se. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about as far as like, get a load, get a truck, get out of there. 80,000 pounds. So you ready to run 12,000 pounds on your steers, 34,000 pounds on your drives, 34,000 pounds on your trailer tandems. When I first got to this business, I was thinking maybe this is only for 53 footers. You know, maybe 53 footers only get 40,000 pounds loaded average, 80,000 GVWR. But no, these 20 footers get 40,000 pounds plus in them, and 45 footers, 40 footers and 20 footers get them in there. Both of them get them in there too. It depends on weight distribution. But for this video, I'm gonna keep it so simple. In order to get 80,000 pounds or less in the vehicle, length of the vehicle matter, and weight distribution. That means how much weight you got at each spot. For this video right here, I'm gonna say the weight of the truck is about 16,500 for the weight of the truck, fully loaded with fuel. Make sure if you don't know the weight of your truck, weigh it with fuel, fully loaded. So you'll know how much you can put in that when you already fully loaded with your tractor. Now, trailers, they vary empty. Weigh them empty. With containers, the box usually weigh about 10,000 pounds. The chassis is about 6,000 pounds. So you're talking about 16,000 pounds average, give or take. With the truck is 16,500, so that's 16,500 plus 16,000 pounds with the container and chassis. So with my tractor and my trailer, with my container empty, I'm at 32,500. So you take the 80,000, you minus 32,500. So it look like you could put in 47,500 pounds, right? That means I could pull 47,500 pounds. Boy, that give you the number that you get from when you minus them two, right? So that means I can pull that much weight in my container or on my trailer. Not really, because you have a thing called under gross. That means you under your GVWR rating, which is 80,000, but you could be over axle. For example, you may have the loader, which brings you to a point. Loaders got to know how to load the weight right in the trailers. If they don't, you could be under gross but over axle. So your gross vehicle weight rating may be about 72,000 pounds, but your steers is 14. Your drive tires is probably 36. You probably only got 16,000 on your trailer back there. I'm just throwing numbers out there. It could be way off because of distribution, because you have under gross, but you over axle, which means you're still overweight because you are over on each axle. Now, I'm gonna put something on the screen here showing these the tandem holes. This is 453 footer with containers. On the holes right here, you see, each one of these holes, they represent a different pounds per hole. Now, they vary from trailer to trailer, from chassis to chassis. Now, some of them holes may be anywhere between 300 pounds per hole to 400 or 500 pounds per hole. Depends how small the hole is, how many holes you got, and how big the hole is. So let's just say you overweight on your drives, you did 36,000, right? And your tandems may be all the way to the back of the trailer. They all the way to the rear. Now if you do the math, let's just say these holes are about 500 pounds per hole for the sake of the video. In order to get some of that weight off of your drive tires, you have to slide your tandems more towards your truck. You gotta slide them more forward. Let's say it's 20 holes. And your trailer's in a 20th hole back there. It's 36,000 on your drives, and they're supposed to be 34. You gotta move 2,000 pounds. So you do 2,000 divided by 500. That'll give you 4 holes. So you have to move your trailer tandems up 4 holes. If the hole is 500 pounds per hole. Let's say it's 350 pounds per hole. You got 20 holes back there for the trailer pin to go in. 20 holes, so you gotta move 2,000 pounds. So you might have to move it about 5 to 6 holes to get your 2,000 pounds. So you'll move your tandems 5 or 6 holes. Now, in order for you to understand exactly how many pounds per hole your trailer is, this is gonna be kind of, you know, a headache to do, but you can do this if you got time in the truck stop. If you got time in the truck stop, do this. When I first got out here, I had to do this so I could figure out the pounds per hole. Because sometimes you may be in situations where you have to know that because you may not be able to have a truck stop to go weigh your load at before you gotta reach a coupe. Go weigh yourself at a cat scale, and then let's say your weight is off. Because sometimes if you don't know what your weight is, you may have to weigh it 2 or 3 times to get your weight right. So let's say you weigh it in the 17th hole, right? And let's say I'm over on my drives again. So you go weigh it and you move it up 1 hole. You take the previous weight you had before, and then you minus the weight you got right now. That'll give you how much pound per hole it was in your trailer holes. In case you guys don't get this, just rewind the video and watch it over again. So that'll give you how much pounds per hole of that trailer you got, or that chassis you got, or that container you got. That'll kind of give you the idea how much pounds per hole. So in case you gotta move stuff around again, you ain't gotta keep trying to reweigh it. You can do some math. Okay, I moved it, I lost 700 pounds. I still over on my drives about 900. So if I move it 3 more holes, that'll give me 950 pounds, I believe, or something like that. You gotta do the math. So if I move it 3 more holes, I should be straight. I ain't gotta reweigh it. I already know how much my weight gonna be. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't do that, you have to keep going on the cat scale, rewind. But anyway, I digress with that. So that's what 53 footers. Now, you kind of get some act right with some 53 footers. You can slide the tandems. Now, if you can't slide the tandems nowhere, you got no room to play with, I wouldn't recommend moving the 5th wheel. I would not recommend moving the 5th wheel because you can cause a lot of damage that way. Couple things factor in here. When you find out your weight distribution too, it depends on the placement of your fuel tanks. Your fuel tanks is further back on the truck, so it'll put more weight automatically on your drives. They more forward, so put more weight automatically on your steers. Just make sure you just know that if you're ever doing this stuff. So let's just say you gotta play with the fuel, right? You gotta play with the fuel to kind of get your weight right, get some act right in you. To play with the fuel is this. You may have 80,000 pounds gross, and you got to burn, you just filled up because you didn't realize I should have filled up my fuel after I got my load first, because now I know how much fuel I can put in there. And this is how you factor how much fuel you can put in there. 8 pounds per gallon on fuel. So let's just say, I'm trying not to make this video complicated, guys. I'm trying to make it real as simple as possible, but it's getting a little complicated. I'm trying to wheel myself back in. So let's do some math. This is a quick math on here, guys, and I ain't gonna make this video too long. For the sake of the video, let's say you got 300 gallons on your truck. You got 150 on this side, you got 150 on this side. So you got 300 gallons total. 150 plus 150 equals 300. You times that times 8. They give you 2,400 pounds. So let's say you at 78,000 pounds even, and you fill up. That's with the load. You load it. You 78,000 pounds. Let's say you are empty. You ain't got no fuel in your tank. I'm just standing for the video to make it real simple. If you throw 300 gallons in your tanks, that's gonna put you at 78,000 plus 2,400, 80,400 pounds. So if you already know, this is a rule of thumb I usually do. If I'm at a place, like I have a tank, and I know I'm picking up a heavy load, I get my load first. Then I see how much diesel I can put in there, because I know the weight the measurements of how many pounds per gallon of diesel I need, and I know the weight of my empty weight of my trailer, my container chassis, and I know the weight of my truck fully loaded. So I know what the gross vehicle weight rating empty is with my tractor and trailer. So you take that same number and you just gotta do some numbers, you gotta do some math in your head. Now a lot of people don't know this when you're dealing with trucking, because there are entities out here that's waiting on you to come sliding through, not knowing this stuff, and you will get popped with fines because you are overweight, either over axle or you over gross. Or you could be over gross on the tonnage street that don't require you to be a certain amount of tons. You could be over gross on that street. So so many ways you can get in this business, but I digress. I'm gonna bring it back. So here's the rule of thumb. If I get loaded, let's say I'm fully loaded with fuel, and I'm loaded with the tractor trailer with the same numbers I used earlier, with the 16,500 plus the 16,000. That's 32.5 plus fully loaded. That's how, so my 2,400 is already included in that. So let's say I got like 45 or 42,000 pounds in here loaded. Now I'll pick it up at a customer, and I cannot get to a truck stop to weigh it before I've got to pass the chicken house or a weigh station. My rule of thumb is, if I'm able to see the load, if it's loaded to like the 48-foot mark back there, kind of that far back, and I know it's like 42 to 45,000 pounds, I would count from here. I'm gonna say this, guys, and I'm gonna end this. And this have gotten me out of a lot of jams. I would count from if you walk in from the cab, walking toward the back of the trailer, start counting the holes. Now this don't matter with either size, small or big. I've done it with both, and it's a safe haven. So to kind of get a good idea, to kind of ride kind of even, I would count back between from the front first hole going toward the rear trailer doors, 8 to 10 holes. Put your first tandem pin between the 8th and the 10th hole. Put it up in there. I would say 8, if not 9 times out of 10, your way to be okay, at least to get to a truck stop and get past a weigh station. And here's a little story real quick, guys. I was coming out as customer. I picked up a load of seasoning, but right where the customer was at, right down the street was a weigh station. There was literally nowhere to go. The customer, I gotta go past the weigh station before I even able to weigh the load, because they didn't have a scale on the lot. So what I did was I learned that rule some years before. So I put it in the 9th hole. I seen where the seasons was at. I had like 43.5 on my load, I think it was. And so I put it in the 9th hole. And when I got to the scale house, I was sweating. Don't get me wrong, I was sweating bullets. But I was actually okay. This worked. I had a regular van, I have a container. And I've done it with containers too. I got trapped in portable scales like that before too. So many traps out here, so many traps. But anyway, YouTube, that's it for this video, guys. I hope this video was helpful. I hope I didn't clog it up with a bunch of extra stuff. But either way it goes, hope it's some information you can use. So that's it for this video, YouTube. So YouTube, hope this video was helpful. Give you a little understanding of what's going on here. I'll see you guys in this video. Peace.